Day 6. It's Friday, AD 33. We call it Good Friday. It's the last Friday of Jesus' earthly life as the day he dies before Sunday comes where he rises. It's a difficult day of Holy Week because Jesus is so good. Jesus is so kind. Jesus is so gentle and humble, and he's done nothing wrong. I can remember when I was a young child watching the display at a Passion of Christ display and asking my mother, why did that have to happen to him? Why did they kill him? Or maybe you've seen the Passion of Christ movie, and watching that you get so upset at the intentionality of those who killed Jesus. That's my King. This is my Lord. Why did they have to kill him? Why did they have to cut him? Why did they have to whip him? Why did they have to spit on him? It makes me angry to see my King, the King of the universe, treated that way. Good Friday starts in the morning, a morning where Jesus was wrongfully and even shamefully accused again and again, multiple trials as he was sentenced finally to death on a cross, and he remains silent. It's a death sentence that he receives, but it's not a merciful death sentence. Even stoning could have a moment of mercy where the blow hits and you're knocked out and it's all over from there. No, this is a crucifixion. This is what Cicero would call a capital penalty, the most painful, the most dreadful, the most ugly, and should not even be used, and he would not allow it to be done to Roman citizens. This is so humiliating and so graphic. This isn't merciful. Yet we call it Good Friday. Imagine at the end of Good Friday, seeing the blood and the body of Jesus and turning to a disciple and saying, "Yeah, it's a good day." Imagine the tears in their eyes, the confusion, the anger that would come from them. Just like watching Jesus on the cross in a drama or a movie. That's a good part of the movie. What? How can we call this Good Friday? Well, in Matthew and Mark and Luke, we see them talk about the humiliation of the cross. But the Gospel of John was written a little later, and the Gospel of John here paints a picture that this is all for the glory of God. That there is good coming out of this. That there is life coming out of this. That there's good things that God is working out in this humiliation, in this death sentence of crucifixion. So we look at the suffering this day, and we look at the humiliation of this day, but we look beyond it. We look beyond to see what God's purposes are and what he's accomplishing. But let's look for a moment. Luke 23, we have Jesus on the cross, and he spoke final statements, 7 final statements on the cross. His first statement was, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." He's asking them for forgiveness for something they're not aware of. And you might ask, well, are they guilty of something when they don't know why they're doing it? Usually we say they're guilty because of their motives. They're guilty inside of that. They're guilty for not knowing that Jesus has arrived, Palm Sunday, as we talked this week, that Jesus has said, "I am the Messiah. I am the one. It's me." They're guilty here for not knowing that he is God. They have no excuse. They had their chance to know. And now he is dying. He's saying, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." There are people who put Jesus on the cross this day, little knowing that putting him on there was for their sake, was for their good. We are guilty of our sin, and we put Jesus on the cross. He died for our sin. It was our sin that put him there. And yet it was for our good that he went there. It was for our good that he died. Jesus had 2 crosses on each side of him on his crucifixion. One of the criminals gives us a way of responding to Jesus on Good Friday. He was nailed next to him, and he railed on him, it says, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." It's like if he could, I'm sure he would have spit on Jesus for not saving them from the pain he's going through. But little did he truly know that Jesus staying up on that cross was the only opportunity for our salvation. If Jesus would have said, "You want me to prove myself to you by getting down," then there is no way to be made to the Father. There's no way to be made back in relationship. There's no way to have a place in heaven. Jesus' remaining on the cross was a reminder and a purchase for us that we do have a way. And then there's another criminal on the other side. That other criminal kind of looks past and sees this criminal and hears him, and he rebukes him. He says, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." And he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." That's another way of responding to Jesus this Good Friday. Looking to Jesus and admitting that we are wrong, admitting our sin, admitting that we deserve punishment. So we look to Jesus on the cross, pleading with him, acknowledging his kingdom, so his kingship, and then saying, "Would you please remember me? Can you know me? Can we have that relationship? I see who you are as the King." There's 2 ways of responding. Do we respond wanting maybe a few more minutes in life, like that one criminal? A few more tastes of a steak, a few more enjoyment moments of pleasure, and that's the definition of our salvation? Or is it the other criminal who says, no, the definition of salvation is that I deserve this cross and I deserve eternal punishment. But Jesus, remember me. Remember me if you would, and would this sacrifice that you're doing at this very moment be for me? So this Good Friday is good for those who trust in Jesus, those who look to Jesus and say, "Thank you. I deserve that. Would you forgive me and remember me?" Would we have a relationship together? And Jesus' final words on the cross, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Friday night, Jesus breathed his last. The Son of God died.